I thought it was very interesting. So it's to do with education. I saw this really good tweet where one person said, writing is not a second thing that happens after thinking. The act of writing is an act of thinking. Writing is thinking. This is really important in the world of AI, especially in education. So the follow-up tweet was, this is a central problem with higher education in the age of AI. We cannot require students to do take-home writing assignments, e.g. term papers, anymore because most will cheat and have ChatGPT or Claude or Grok do the writing. But we can't teach critical thinking, rationality, perseverance, and scholarship without requiring writing assignments you work on, researching, drafting, editing, revising, polishing over a period of days or weeks. The result may be a whole generation of students who can't really write or think or articulate what they really believe and value and why. I think this hits the nail on the head on the difference between using AI to be efficient and using AI to be lazy. So you can do both of it. I think people who are older, like myself, we are in a very lucky position. And if you are my age or older, we're in a great position where we learned to think and write the manual way. And now we can take advantage of AI tools to leverage that learning that we've done. Because writing itself, when you write, it's not purely about the output. Like I could generate a PhD thesis. It probably wouldn't be very good, but I could probably generate a PhD thesis in a few weeks using artificial intelligence. The important thing is not the writing at the end. The important thing is me going through the process of putting that together, which is why it takes years generally to do a PhD. And even easier if I'm doing a master's or a bachelor's thesis. That would be fairly trivial nowadays. But that means that I have robbed myself as learning, because the act of writing, which again is researching, drafting, editing, revising, polishing, all of that, doing the process of this, that is thinking. This is why my newsletter, when I realized what was happening with AI, I was running a digital marketing agency at the time, and I realized, like, oh, this is going to be a problem. AI is going to be an issue. I started to learn as much as I could about artificial intelligence. And the way that I personally learn is by writing. So I started writing the newsletter. I was writing about 1,000 words a day about AI and the use of AI in business. Because by doing that, you are practicing going through problems. You are solving problems. You are working things out in your brain, which then allows you to talk about them. It allows you to write about them with some degree of authority, maybe. But that is robbed from us if we just use ChatGPT or Claude or maybe Grok to put together the piece of writing ourselves. It's cliched, but it's the journey that matters, not the destination in education in particular. So I personally went to Oxford. I studied history. They would have us write 1 or 2 essays every single day. So we just wrote every day, every week. It wasn't that bad. So I'd write maybe 6,000 words every single week for 3 years. That's just what you did, right? That experience of writing and thinking and being critical, that is what's going to be stolen away by artificial intelligence for the next set of students coming through. It's tricky though, because when you have such a powerful tool at your disposal, it's really hard to resist using it. Even if somebody like me is saying, no, you're robbing yourself, blah, 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 do the hard work for 3 years. I mean, if I was 18 again and somebody told me to do the hard work for 3 years, or I could use this tool and go out partying instead, it's quite an easy choice to make. So I think AI is an amazing tool for those of us who have learned to think, we've learned to be critical, we've learned to be discerning, and now we can use AI to leverage those skills. But if you are going into university and going into higher education right now, it could be devastating depending on how you use it. AI, it can make the lazy very lazy, and it can make the efficient extremely efficient. It's just how we choose to balance that out, which is difficult. It's another very, not intractable, but it's a difficult problem to solve. But I thought this tweet here just summed it up. We cannot teach critical thinking, rationality, perseverance, and scholarship without requiring writing assignments that they work on, researching, drafting, editing, revising, polishing over a period of days or weeks. So important. And I think that hits the nail on the head on why AI is extremely problematic in education and why we need to work out what we're doing with it. Because it's not going away. Interesting. Zoppy Bloom says, I've just got off a call with my supervisor. Is this PhD or master's awesome, by the way. And I totally agree. The words we use matter. So yeah, it's the process of working with your supervisor, thinking, hitting roadblocks, working your way through those roadblocks, reading new pieces of information, synthesizing it in. It's all of that work in the background. That's where we're actually learning. It's not just producing the Word document or whatever it is, because we can now do that like in seconds. So we rob ourselves of that process if we don't do it the hard manual way, which I understand is it's hard and manual, and that's unattractive. I'd be fascinated to hear what your supervisor thinks, so Soppy Bloom, because imagine if you're in education, if you work as a supervisor, if you work as a tutor, this is something that they're having to deal with on a daily basis. Okay, AI is here. What do we do? Do we just ban it? Or do we promote it, but give people ways to use it properly? But what if we don't ourselves know how to use it properly, etc.? There's a huge amount that needs to be unpacked here. It needs to be done fast. Otherwise, we're going to have generations of people who haven't learned. They've just taken the questions they've been asked, put them into ChatGPT, output an answer, and hand that in. It just passes through them, and without any friction, nothing's going to stick. Oh, Zombie Bloom is saying, I'm a teacher and studying a master's in cyber. Okay, cool. Cybersecurity. We have a massive problem at level 3. Yeah. Yes, with coding as well. It's going to be an issue when people are doing coding assignments, because in the real world, they will probably be using AI assistants, but we need to go through the process of writing that code, at least initially handwriting that code, so it becomes ingrained in the muscle memory, because otherwise we are just using the autocompletes. We can have the code written for us completely by Claude Code using natural language, but then we are not learning the syntax. We're not learning the structure, the architecture of programs themselves. We are just, again, given the problem to the AI to solve, so we don't do any of the solving ourselves. Yeah, it's a tricky one.